Hi, I'm William Vokey. Please make a donation to Carnegie's annual fund. Your donations directly support programs like the video you're about to watch. These are difficult times. Help keep alive these voices for ethics. Visit carnegiecouncil.org, click the heading Mark Support. Thanks.
One of the great, I won't say failures, but one of the great gaps in Islam in the West is that it has been singularly unsuccessful in converting people to Islam. Now, wherever Islam encountered other civilizations in the past, it was the indigenous people. And people think that the Arabs occupied Spain, and then the Spaniards took over Spain and the Arabs left. That's not the case. Spain was, the Muslims in Spain were 85% nearly Spanish, indigenous peoples. The Muslims of India are not all invaders, no matter what the Hindu nationalists say. The vast majority of them are converts. The Muslims of the Malay archipelago are also people who converted to Islam, and so on down the line. With the exception of African Americans, which have their own particular relationship to Islam. Most Muslims in the West are immigrants or children of immigrants, and have not been able, therefore, to create, especially in Europe, they have not been able to create a kind of space where they are not protected, but they are enforced by a large number of natives or indigenous people who convert to Islam. In Europe, most Muslims, or the vast majority of Muslims, are really of low socioeconomic status. Most of them came as workers after the World War II economic boom, and from former colonial territories. And in the 1990s, they were added to by refugees and people who sought economic and political refuge in Europe. In America, most of the Muslims, with the exception of the African Americans, are really children of people who are of quite good educational background and relatively high income and so on. So they have a different relationship. And I must say that America is far more accommodating to outsiders as groups than Europe is. I mean, Europe in many ways, with the exception of the UK, is in many ways a very ethnic, they are ethnically centered nation states. And their openness was severely tested by these waves of people with an apparently different culture and illiberal values and so on. The second and third generation have to overcome a great deal of obstacles before they can become fully participating citizens. In the UK, for example, there's a disproportionate number of Muslims who are in the disadvantaged categories. In France, for example, most of the population of the prisons are Muslims. These ratios don't really hold in this country. So the issue of Islam in Europe, I think, is, I mean, it can follow many directions. One is ghettoization, marginalization, exclusion. Another one is basically adoption of the mores and values of the host society or the dominant society. And then there's a third way that is being tried now, which is to keep your specific identity but limit its outer expression so that it becomes more, as it were, acceptable. I think that it is probably going to move in the first direction. That is, a large number of people, just for reasons of survival, will probably acknowledge that they have to give up the outer expressions of Islam and accept whatever are the norms. And then in time, 1 or 2 generations later, it becomes a private faith and a badge of identity.